The next topic which I'm going to start is strain energy method. See, if you see GATE, with respect to GATE, they are frequently asking many questions from this topic. Okay, there are many questions which they are asking from this particular topic. It is also known as Castigliano's theorem. I'm not pronouncing it properly. I'm very sorry for it. Castigliano's theorem. Yeah, it is correct. And then energy method. Okay, so there are three different names for this particular theorem. This theorem is used for calculating deflection and beams. Okay, so if you see in the last method which we discussed, the first method which we discussed was double integration method. Okay, and the double integration method we discussed about all the general cases, right? But in the double integration method, we never found out, or we never find the deflection when a structure is subjected to axial loading. Okay, any structure, take any structure, if the structure is subjected to axial loading, we cannot able to determine the deflection by using double integration. Okay, the reason is very simple. Double integration method is derived, that is, we will be deriving deflection by using this simple formula. Okay, and this simple formula is specific for bending. Okay, this is specific for bending. Okay, so we got this formula from the bending equation only, right? So this formula is specific for bending, so I cannot use double integration method for an axial loading case. So this is the first point. Let me give it in a proper manner. Just take care of all the points properly. Okay, what is the first point? Double integration method, which we studied before, is not useful for determining deflection if the load acting is purely axial. Okay, if it is completely axial, I cannot determine by double integration. So double integration has some limitations which we've seen already. Okay, what are the limitations? That is the cross section should be same, right? And the moment equation should be same. Okay, these are the two limitations which we've seen already. Now I am adding the third limitation to it, that is, it is not useful for determining deflection if it is under axial loading case. So now you might ask me, like, if it is not applicable, then which is the method which is preferable for axial loading? Not preferable, the only method. Okay, the only method by which I can determine deflection of axial loading is Castigliano's theorem. I'm very sorry again. It is a strain energy method. I will fix it with strain energy. Okay, always I used to pronounce it wrongly. Okay, Castigliano's theorem, right? So yes, strain energy method. Okay, so this is the only method, okay, by which I can determine deflection of axial loading. There might be some other method, but which is not necessary for GATE. As I said, four methods are there, right? Double integration, Castigliano's theorem or strain energy method, and third one is moment area method, and fourth one is principle of superposition. And this second method is the only method which can be used for determining deflection under pure axial loading case. Okay, first point to note. Second point, if it is it only for pure axial loading? No. Second point is, strain energy method can be applied for combined loading also, such as torsion, bending, everything. But the key point, or the point to note specifically in strain energy, is it is the method, it is the only method which we are studying which can be applied for axial loading. No other methods can be used for axial loading, for finding deflection of the axial loading. Okay, but it can be applied for bending and torsion also. I will be discussing some examples. Okay, many examples are there and previous year questions are there. We will be discussing it. Okay, right now first we will see the theorem. So this is the first theorem. There are two statements actually in Castigliano's theorem. There are two statements. First statement states, for a linearly elastic structure, again in strength of materials, as I already said, we will study about linear, we will mostly concentrate on elastic members only. That is a member which is purely elastic. Okay, it has to be within elastic region. It should not be like, it should not undergo permanent deformation in case of strength of materials. Permanent deformation is more like the permanent deformation, application of permanent deformation is going to be in metal forming. Okay, in strength of materials it is elastic. What is the reason? I discussed in stress strain diagram in the first chapter. Okay, I'm not going to recollect it again. right? So in strength of materials, we will be concentrating on elastic structures only. And here specifically they are mentioning for linearly elastic structure, which means the load should be applied within proportionality limit. Okay, load should be applied within proportionality limit. It will be linear until proportionality limit. From proportionality to what is that, elastic point. Okay, there it will be non-linear. Okay, so there are two, linear elastic and non-linear elastic region, right? So it is within linear elastic limit, it is a linear elastic structure, which means it should be within proportionality limit, right? That is the first point to note. Second, the partial derivative of, okay, the partial derivative of, very important thing, just note this, highlight it in a very great manner, that is, you try to write it in a caps also, okay, caps and with a different color. Okay, total strain energy. So we know strain energy will be represented with U. Here, for using this Castigliano's theorem, that is the first statement of Castigliano's theorem, I need to find out total strain energy. Okay, this is total strain energy. What does it mean, total strain energy? For example, okay, I'm giving you, if it is a simply supported, very simple example, simply supported beam, if I want to determine deflection at any point, okay, if I want to determine deflection at any point, even maybe this point or this point or this point or this point, whatever may be the point, but strain energy should be calculated for the total beam. How to calculate strain energy I discussed separately in strain energy chapter, and that is the reason why we are coming to deflection chapter after strain energy. There is a very good, we are, what I can say, we are making this course in a proper chronological order so that we can approach next chapter by having the knowledge of previous chapter. So strain energy, whatever we discussed in the last chapter, that is what we are going to use now. And now I need to determine total strain energy of this beam. So very important point to note. For example, I can determine deflection at this point. But strain energy should be calculated for total. Okay, right. Total strain energy of the structure, that is, I need to find partial derivative, right? So partial derivative of total strain energy, of the structure with respect to, that is, with respect to what I need to differentiate. I need to differentiate with respect to particular load. Okay, for example, I will take another simple example. Okay, a cantilever beam. I will be coming back for these types of examples also. First I will discuss about cantilever beam. This is very simple for explaining this concept. Okay, let me take cantilever beam. A load P is acting at one end. Okay, suppose we know that this is our elastic curve. Okay, this is our elastic curve, and let me take this point as, let this point be B. Okay, and this is deflection of B, and if I draw a tangent, and this will be slope of B. Okay, now our ultimate aim is to determine this deflection of point B and this slope at point B. Okay, if I want to determine deflection of point B, first step, I will be explaining in a step-by-step manner. First step, calculate total strain energy. Don't worry about the point, calculate total strain energy. Second step, differentiate that total strain energy with respect to load. Okay, with respect to load, but here there is a restriction. Which load I need to use? I need to use the load, okay, I need to use the load where I need to find the deflection. Note it down carefully. Okay, I need to differentiate total strain energy with load. Okay, with load I need to, which load I need to use? The load which is acting at a point where I need to find the deflection. Okay, so if I want to find deflection at point B, I need to use load P only. Okay, right. So total strain energy should be differentiated with respect to the load. Which load I need to use? The load at which, the load which is acting at the point where I need to find out the deflection. Very simple. Now that's what particular load gives the displacement of the point. So if I want to find out displacement of this point, I need to use this particular load which is acting at the point. Similarly, if I want to find out deflection at this point, we know this is our elastic curve, right? This is delta max. So if I want to find out deflection at this point, then I need to use this load, but I need to find out total strain energy. After finding total strain energy, I need to differentiate with this load to determine this deflection. That is the concept. Okay. So if I differentiate total strain energy with the load at a point where I need to find out strain energy, that will be equal to deflection at the point where load acts. That's it. And in which direction that deflection will be? The deflection will be same direction as that of line of action of the load. So is it very simple, right? See, load is acting in this direction, deflection is happening in downward direction only. Okay, that is our first theorem. Okay, first statement. Okay, I'm not writing the second statement, but I will give the second statement. That is very, very simple actually. What is the second statement? Statement of Castigliano's theorem is used for determining deflection at any point. Okay, and the second statement is used to determine theta, that is slope at the point. Okay, now what I need to do, it's very simple, same, I need to differentiate strain energy, but this time I need to differentiate strain energy with moment. Okay, this time I need to differentiate strain energy with the moment. And what moment I need to take? The point at which I need to find out the slope. Okay, the point at which I need to find out that slope, that point I need to differentiate u with respect to that moment. See, okay, let me first finish the statement. Theta at the point where moment acts. See, you might have a confusion now, but I will do an example. I will take this cantilever beam only and I will do the example, then it will be more clear. Okay, for now I am giving you the statements. These are the two statements. Okay, and if you know these two statements properly, and if you know how to determine strain energy for a beam, that's it. 2 marks is sure. Okay, mostly they are asking. Okay, not every year, but this method seems to be very important because I could see many previous year questions from this particular method. Okay, right. So now come back for that. Okay, so deflection. If I want to find out slope at any point where moment acts, okay, what I need to do was, see, suppose if I want to find out slope at this point, that is theta b, I need to determine. But you could see here there is no moment which is acting. There is only point load which is acting. There is no moment which is acting. Now, if I want to find out theta at a point where no moment acts, listen carefully. If I want to find out theta where moment is not acting at all, okay, then what I need to do? I need to introduce an hypothetical moment. Okay, so here m naught is hypothetical, which means the moment is not present. Which means the moment is, in reality, the moment is not present. I am introducing it. Okay, so I will be introducing an hypothetical moment. After introducing hypothetical moment, I will be finding out u. Okay, it is simple only. I will be doing an example. I will be finding out u after introducing a hypothetical moment. After that, I will differentiate u with respect to m naught. Then after differentiating, okay, I will equate m naught to 0. Okay, listen carefully. If I want to find out slope at a point where there is no point moment acting. If there is no point moment acting, I need to introduce an hypothetical moment. Hypothetical moment generally will be represented with dot lines. Okay, dotted lines. Okay. So I need to introduce an hypothetical moment. After introducing hypothetical moment, find out strain energy. Then differentiate with that moment only. Then equate it. Then after differentiating, equate all m naught to 0. That is all hypothetical moment to 0. Okay. Now I hope you would have understood the theorem. Now you might ask me one question. If suppose I want to find deflection at this point, deflection, not slope. If I want to find deflection at this point, what I need to do? What I need to do? You can say, right? What I need to do? If I want to find deflection at this point, introduce hypothetical load. Why I am introducing hypothetical load? Because at this point, let me take this point to be C. Okay, at this point C, there is no point load acting. There is no point load acting. But what is our theorem? I will differentiate total strain energy with the load which is acting at a point where I need to find the deflection. So if I want to find deflection at this point, I need to use point load which is acting at this point only, but there is no point load acting. So I am introducing an hypothetical point load. Now differentiate total strain energy with P naught. First determine U, then differentiate U with respect to P naught. After differentiating, equate all P naught to 0. So now, if you understood the statements and explanations, it's well and good. If you didn't understood also, don't worry. I'm going to take the same example and I'm going to do it in a much better way that will make this complete Castigliano's theorem very clear for you. Okay, so and this theorem is very useful not only for mechanical, it is very useful for civil also, because you will be using this in structures. Okay, so that is why it is very important for both, right? We will continue. Okay, so I explained about the theorem. Now I am going to start giving you the concepts through one example. Okay, so this, you just listen to this example properly. All the theory which we discussed, concepts which we discussed before, you will understand it much clearly. Okay, right. So I am taking a cantilever beam as usual. What is our aim here is, let me take, this is point A, this is point B, fixed end, free end. I am going to determine deflection at B and theta at B, okay, by using strain energy method. We already seen how to determine deflection and theta by using double integration. Now you will get to know how easy this strain energy method is. Okay, see, but what is the first step? Go in a step-by-step manner. What is the first step? First step is determine strain energy for the total structure, right? So this is a cantilever beam. So if I want to find out strain energy for a total beam, I will take a section XX at a distance X. These things we discussed before in strain energy chapter. What will be strain energy, total strain energy? That will be integration. Okay, integration from where to where? X is varying from X is equal to 0 to X equal to L. So X is varying from 0 to L. M at a section X, okay, at this section X square dx by 2EI. So this formula we found it, we determined this in the strain energy chapter itself. So 2EI I can take it outside by assuming that I remains same everywhere and it is the same material. Okay. So now integration of 0 to L. What is mx? That is moment at a distance x from right side. Okay, how to determine that? Mx will be equal to what? P into distance x, right? So P into distance x. Don't worry about the sign convention again. Okay, if you because we already know that deflection and slopes, they are not going to ask you the sign convention. Anyways, it is hogging. If you want to mention, you mention negative, but not at all an issue. Okay, it's not at all an issue. Okay, if you want to mention it, because why to confuse you? Okay, if you mention it, that is if it is hogging, I am mentioning it as negative. It is not necessary, but okay. Let me take that minus px, mx, in place of mx I am substituting that whole square dx by, and anyways 2e has been taken outside, right? Now see, minus square, anyways it will become plus. So that's what I said, not necessary for mentioning the sign convention in this. Okay, right? Even in double integration also I didn't take in sign convention, right? Because we are not going to worry about what is the sign convention of, what is the sign of deflection and theta. We need to find what is the magnitude. Okay, right, fine. So yeah, so p square can be taken out because p is a constant, right? So p square by 2ei, and what is integration of x square? Integration of x square is x cube by 3. Upper limit is L, lower limit is 0. So substitute upper limit minus lower limit, p square, this will become L cube, okay, by 3 into 2, it is 6ei. Okay, so p square L cube by 6ei. If I substitute 0, it will become 0. Okay. Now how to determine deflection first? Deflection can be determined at point B, okay, by differentiating partially the strain energy, total strain energy with respect to load which is acting at point B. Okay, so what is the load which is acting at point B? At point B, the load which is acting is P only. Okay, so I will differentiate this total term, okay, partially again. What is mean by partial differentiation first? Partial differentiation means only p is variable, okay, only p is variable, all other terms are constants, okay. So in this case, except p, L cube, 2ei all are constants, so I will take it outside. Okay, if I take it outside, it will become p square. Sorry, very sorry. So if I take it outside, L cube by 6ei. Now what is the differentiation of p square with respect to p? It is 2p, right? So that is equal to this will get cancelled. Okay, this will become 6. So p L cube by 3ei. So go and see what is the equation which we got by using double integration for a cantilever beam. What is the equation of delta at B? We know that delta at B is the maximum deflection, as we discussed already. That maximum deflection, that is delta at B, by using double integration which we discussed before. Okay, that equation which I got and this equation which we are getting from Castigliano's theorem, that is the strain energy method, has to be same, and it will be same. Okay, and you know now which one is comparatively easy. Of course, double integration is fine, but there are some limitations. Okay, now let us proceed. There is no limitations here. See, listen one thing, even if I varies, even if E varies, if E varies with respect to X, if I varies with respect to X, what I can do? I will keep both E and I inside. Okay, I will keep both E and I inside, and then I will integrate it. Okay, the only thing is I need to know how E varies with X and how I varies with X. These things I guess I discussed there also, okay, in the first chapter also. That is, if area varies, if E varies, then I need to keep all those things inside and then I need to integrate it. Okay, so I discussed in strain energy method also, right? So yeah, now what is our next term? So this has been determined. How to find out slope? See, for finding slope, I need to differentiate the total strain energy with respect to moment. Okay, with respect to moment which is acting at the point where I need to find the slope. Carefully listen. This is the point where I need to find out the slope, but there is no moment which is acting there. There is only point load. So what I need to do? I need to introduce an hypothetical moment. Okay, the direction is your wish. If you want to introduce like this, you introduce, or if you want to introduce like this, you introduce. It is up to you. Let me introduce like this. Okay, because the direction is not at all a matter. You introduce in this direction or in this direction, whatever direction, your answer is not going to vary. Okay, so I introduce an hypothetical moment like this. Okay, now I need to determine what is the moment at xs, because this is not going to be the moment at xx now, right? The moment at x value is going to get changed. Okay, so let me determine that. Moment at a distance x. Okay, so moment at distance x will be equal to, what are the loads which we are having? P into x, right? P into x, that is one moment. In addition to that, there was one hypothetical moment, right? M naught, that is also acting in the same direction. Okay, P into x is also in the same direction clockwise, M naught is also in the same direction clockwise. So both I am taking it as positive. Okay, so it is not an issue if you take M naught in opposite direction, there won't be any issues. Okay, right? So yeah, now what about strain energy of the total member? That will be equal to integration of mx square dx by 2ea, and from where to where I need to integrate? From 0 to L. I will take 2ea commonly outside, so 1 by 2ea integration of, what is mx? Mx is this total term, right? Right, integration should be done from 0 to L, so 1 by 2 ei. Now let me expand this by using a plus b whole square formula. I can integrate it like this also, but let me expand it because that will be more convenient for us. Okay, because finally I need to equate m naught to 0, right? So that is why. So if I expand it, what will happen? A square plus b square plus 2ab. So px square will be p square x square plus 2 times of px m naught 2ab plus m naught square dx. Okay, I hope it is fine. Now integrate it. Okay, now integrate it with respect to x, and the limits are 0 to L. So u will be equal to 1 by 2 ei. Okay, integration. Let me use another color. P is constant, okay, so integrating x square will be x cube by 3, okay. So again 2p m naught is constant, okay, 2p m naught is constant, integrating x with respect to x will be x square by 2, I'm sorry this is very small, m naught x square by 2, right. Again m naught square is constant, so integrating m naught, that is integrating a constant, will be x m naught square into x, and upper limit is L and lower limit is 0. So that will be equal to, if I apply upper limit and lower limit, okay, p square L cube by 3, okay, plus 2p, anyways this 2 I can cancel, right, I can cancel that. So p m naught L square plus m naught square L, okay. Now how to determine theta? What is the formula for theta? Theta is nothing but, by Castigliano's theorem, theta, if I want to find out point B, I need to integrate u with respect to moment which is acting at point B. Okay, the moment which is acting at point B is m naught, so differentiate u with respect to m naught. Okay, so what is u? This is u, right? Partially, that is very important. Okay, partially, if I directly, let me differentiate it, I am not going to write the one more step, okay. So anyways 1 by 2i is constant, so I can take it outside. Okay, differentiating this term, what will happen? This is a constant, right? So constant term, differentiating with m naught, it will become 0. Okay, plus differentiating this term, what will happen? P is a constant, L square is constant, P is constant, L square constant. Differentiating m naught with m naught will be 1. I am differentiating it, okay, I am not integrating, differentiating. And what will happen to this term? L is constant, so differentiating m naught square will be 2m naught L, okay. Now what is the next step? What I said, if I introduce hypothetical load, after differentiating, equate all the hypothetical loads to 0. Hypothetical load means it may be load or it may be moment. In this case I am introducing hypothetical moment. So equate all the hypothetical moment to 0, which means equate m naught to 0. So if I do that, I will get theta, that's it. Okay, I hope you understood this, right? It's a very simple method in fact. Okay, if I equate m naught 0, this total term will become 0. So PL square by 2EI. Okay, this is the method. See, as per the method is concerned, it's comparatively easy if you understood strain energy chapter properly. Okay, comparatively easy, then double integration. Okay, and I can apply this method everywhere. Okay, and even for axial loading case also. Now I will take some examples of combined loading, and I will take an example of a curved beam. Okay, so curved beam sum has not asked in gate ME, but a curved beams type of sums are possibility for civil, and there is possibility for XC paper, gate XC paper. Okay, so I will discuss curved beams, and I will discuss combined loading, like how to determine deflection when combined loading acts. For example, bending and torsion, both of them are acting. Okay, so all those things I will discuss, but if you want to understand it in a proper manner, you need to follow the order in which I am taking. Okay, because next I will be using combined loading, so you need to know the concept of combined loading, okay, which is discussed in the previous chapter. Before strain energy we discussed one chapter, right? And you need strain energy, so for that you need to go through the strain energy chapter, and we will be using sometimes bending also. Okay, that is the formula which I used, bending equation formula. Okay, so overall, if you are following my order properly, then surely you won't have any confusions. Okay, so let us proceed and we will discuss variety of problems.